The year was 2007. It was the year the original iPhone was unveiled, Windows Vista took over our computers, and Madeleine McCann went missing from a hotel in Portugal. The Tony Hawk Pro Skater franchise was desperately trying to get a hold of its past glories and release a great game again, and their answer to this was Tony Hawk's Proving Ground. This wasn't good enough, and skateboarders were eager to get their hands on a new title. That title happened to be a little game called Skate. Released on the PS3, Xbox and mobile in September 2007, no one really thought much could come from this unheard of little title, made by EA's Black Box division, but my, how wrong we all were. Skate brought in a truly revolutionary control system that, although this pains me to say, was far superior to the Tony Hawk controls. The flick stick meant that I could choose what trick to do using the right analog stick and by flicking it in certain directions. To ollie, I could push down and then up. To kickflip, I'd push down and then up to the left. Or right if I skated goofy, but I don't be so ridiculous, who skates goofy? The direction of the flick matched what the board would do, and although Session has managed to take this even further, it still felt like I was actually doing the tricks, rather than pressing left and square to kickflip. This made doing tricks harder, and the reward for landing a tray flip into a grind was so great that I'd often do a mini celebration after. Unlike the Tony Hawk games, it took time to learn how to do tricks and how to make them look realistic. This was vastly different to the arcadey nature of Pro Skater, and it gave us a true skateboarding simulator. To improve the realism even more, Skate offered a camera angle that looked like the character was being followed by a guy with a video camera, so everything I did looked like it came straight from a video part. This was a bit lost in the later games, as people went back to the further away camera, but I personally loved the close-up feel that the new angle gave us. In terms of story, it was pretty basic, but enough to keep me interested. An incredible opening cutscene sees the main character get hit by a bus, and then various skaters turned actors act out getting me into hospital. When I get out, I basically just have to skate around, gaining sponsors, doing photo shoots and recording video parts until I become a well-known skater. There aren't many cutscenes or wacky stories like the later Tony Hawk games, just good old-fashioned skating. Eventually, after completing enough goals, the X Games opens up, and I'm able to compete in the infamous Big Air competition. This is the absolute highlight of the game, and I must have spent over 100 hours just doing massive airs and trying to land them as smoothly as possible. Outside the X Games arena, EA really went hell for leather creating a skatable map. This was a huge leap forward. Proving Grounds had an open world map, but Skates felt more like a real world location. There weren't random quarter pipe shaped houses scattered around. I had to explore the map to find actual skatable spots. There's a cool stair set, let's see if we can tray flip down it. Or, I wonder if I can nose slide down this entire rail. It felt more like real skateboarding. I was taken back to my 13-year-old self, being a menace around my hometown, looking for anything and everything that could be skatable until we were told to move on. There were different districts, and not to mention a few hidden purpose-built skate parks and backyard bowls that you could stumble upon. This made the game feel more like a skateboard simulator than the arcade-style button masher. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, please hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps grow the channel. Anywho, back to the video. Not only was the free skating nature of the game great, but EA added a couple of mini-games into it too. You could play games of Skate, both single and multiplayer, where you had to land a trick, and then if your opponent can't land it, then they got a letter. Kinda like Horse?
No, it's not like Horse! Duh!
There were also mini competitions, video lines, photo opportunities, jam battles, and own the spot. This was more than enough to keep me entertained, although I'll be honest, I never really played it multiplayer. So far, this game is really blowing the later Tony Hawk games out of the water, but where it fails to live up to the previously mentioned classics is the soundtracks. The music is good, but it definitely takes a back seat. The game felt and played better with the music turned off. This allowed you to hear oncoming traffic, or just the sound of the board rolling over different terrains. EA focused more on sound design than a soundtrack, and it was a bold move. Would the game be better with Goldfinger's Superman? Probably, but it wasn't completely necessary. I think looking back that I actually prefer the sound of the board flipping, the sound of my feet catching a heel flip high up, rather than the arcadey orchestral hit whenever I pulled off a special trick in Pro Skater. I've got to give credit where credit's due, and the graphics in Skate was something else. The other skateboarding games at the time, Project 8 and Proving Grounds, took a leap forward, but Skate looked miles better than its competition. The game honestly still holds up today. The somewhat grainy setting really makes me feel like I'm in a Skate video, and the physics on my character's clothes looked fantastic on the PS3 and Xbox 360. The realistic settings meant that the use of colour was limited, with a lot of the buildings being murky grey, and stone paved floors meant that everything sort of merged into each other, but this made the later payoff even better. When entering the X Games building, it brought with it an amazing use of colour, with the wooden ramps looking incredible and like something you'd see in an NBA 2K game. Not only the surroundings, but the boards and clothes looked amazing too. The face customization was maybe the only thing that let this down, but it was going to improve in the later games. And there we have it. For me, Tony Hawk was dethroned as soon as this game was released. I'd had enough of an arcade-style button basher with unrealistic goals and lame storylines, not you, Thug One, and the part of me that just wanted a proper skate sim where I could cruise around, find the perfect spot, was fulfilled. If the game allowed you to get off the board, then it would have been a perfect 10 out of 10, but that was to come in the future. At the time of making this video, EA are in the works to release Skate 4. From looking at the trailers and video clips, it looks like they're falling into the unrealistic trap that was the later Pro Skater games. And so if you're looking for an all-round great game with realistic parks and features, then give Skate a try. So thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, why don't you check out this one too? Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.